Yo, what's good, everybody? Saman here. I want to make this video. As I'm recording this, it is 7/6/2025. It's my birthday. I'm 19 years old. Almost 19 years of life, pushing that 20 year, man. All reasonable, you know, registration, moral take. I'm a grown ass man. And, I've moved on the means of, being a grown person that holds great standard, values and principles as a person, I feel like. But I still feel like I'm not too far from being, still a child. I'm out from school this summer, I need to graduate. I'm technically out from all this different stuff. I need to get us to different importance, right? And I got a career to put in mind, and I got this grind I need to get to. But I wanted to make this video not to kind of like just be another talk of, oh, I'm coming back and doing my thing. Is that still stands true? I'm not going to act like I'm actually get it to you. I'm not going to act like it's going to be right then and there. And my simple point reason ain't even like about no excuses. As I basically want to make this video not only to tell y'all that it's my birthday, in case some of y'all don't know, but not only to showcase this new spot I found over in Easton, which is beautiful, next to this destroyed big ass complex. I don't know what it was. This is a gala over here, some gallery, some art, some furniture. And it's a cool new park place, you know what I'm saying? Very dope, very banging, you know what I'm saying? And I basically just want to go make this video to not only, address a few different maybe like questions and interests about me, but as well just kind of like use this as a way to introspectively think for a second. A man spent his money decently good, his birthday, saved up, then splooged on everything, right? Then spent it till I was broke. Man ate out, Acanado Tacos, go check them out. Man spent on a game that I didn't know if I was going to like, but after hearing researches and reception, I'm on to go and peek it. Hopefully it lives up to its name. You guys will see about that. I plan to get back on that AC, Gears of War 4, whatever. I cannot, entirely say I'm going to get to it tomorrow, next week, next month. But best believe it's going to come. I don't got no big excuses. All I have to really say is I appreciate y'all patience. I appreciate any of y'all for watching. It don't matter how long it takes. As long as I'm always staying on my tree, as long as I'm always setting the seeds, setting the soil, and planting, my tree will be beautiful regardless of how long it takes to get there. And so, after talking with to auntie and a bunch of other family members, I realized there's a lot more things that I need to unravel even at this age. I'm not one of them niggas I would say that think he a know-it-all. I'm not saying I know better than niggas. I'm not trying to claim that I'm better than y'all or anyone who watching this. I just think that my entire time as a person that I really need to really take in a better thought of mind. I still stand on a lot of the principles that, I come with, you know what I'm saying? We're trying to be solemn, humble, stand up, trying to be modest, trying to live by a great deal of, values, 10 commandments to the best degree I can. And obviously, no man or woman on this world, you know what I'm saying, on this planet is perfect. Ain't no one. It's flawless. But I definitely think there's definitely something that I can always improve on. You learn something every day, you considerably improve every day, and you considerably always will produce new means of excellence every day. Never give up on that. Find yourself, find your purpose, and definitely confine in your happiness. Don't let nobody put you down, you know what I'm saying? There's no limit to what you could do. I don't give a fuck what nobody says. Reach to the motherfucking moon, you feel me? Beyond that, motherfucking star scorcher down, conquer them bitches, and move beyond, you heard? But, kind of back to the point, I took in those values, right? It's hot as hell out here in Hall, man. But a man took in those values, and I realized that considerably trying to talk about try shouldn't be part of your vocabulary, because usually it means you won't do it. I'm not saying nobody actually tries. There's some things where you can only try, can't always do. But I think you should, no matter how long that does take, You should just be moving with do. So I know I will do the videos I have in mind. I know I will get to that book. I know I will get to these things and hopefully get to all my different dreams and aspirations or fulfill my duties and whatever needs that need to be had. You know what I'm saying? But I think now I shouldn't be out here basically saying things that seem like it kind of undervalues my words or undervalues the point in mind that I'm standing for. I got to think really like with the best sense of discipline. I simply put, discipline is what you want to do, not necessarily what you like to do, right? Entirely. Or another form, as it technically goes hand in hand with this analogy and take, is the concept of a athlete doing what they need to do to stay in their best shape, best caliber, most proficient, even if they don't want to. Mike Tyson, when he was like fucking maybe 16, 17, a great deal of time when he was coming up, becoming the, youngest heavyweight champion of all time. He used to run at what, 6 a.m. in the morning? Used to go about running, jogging, built like a semi-truck. And the reason why was not only to get in the best cardio and shape to give him immeasurable amounts of endurance, but because he believes that the other fighter won't be doing it. My opponent can't do what I do. So if I do what I believe he can't do, it would give me better strength. It gave him a second win. It gave him new heart. Because if my opponent can't do this, then I can do things in the ring that he can't. And most of the time, Mike Tyson showed that. He executed that. He said himself, I don't want to be running this early in the fucking morning. I'd rather sleep, eat breakfast, chill, you know? But it is what it is. And like I said before, true discipline in some occasions is doing what you need to do, aka what you want to do, even if in truth you don't really like to do it, but it's from what you want to do to get to whatever you need to. So even though I don't like the overextend of, typing, producing this, planning, some different aspect, I'm passionate. I got integrity to my shit. I got love to my shit. And I always make an effort, a continuous effort, to put that into perspective. And that's what really matters. So that's something I know now. And another thing that I better gauge was that, not only is family important, I already knew that in general, but family is not just important, right? It is a big necessity for a lot of people because ain't nobody in this world want to be alone. And from just hearing about a bunch of different people's lives, hearing from a few people, I ain't going to say their names, I've taken in their stories and I've taken in what they've been through, and it really helped me get a better picture. That again, I realized fully that family is important, not just because of the necessity, and that's because it's your kin, your bloodline, your destiny. It's because of the fact that family is always a part of you in some way, and entirely to discard it, to disperse that, and not even take in the fact that without them, regardless of they bad, gray, good, whatever stance in mind, would be separating a big, I feel like, connection and construction of your entire being. And when you do that, I feel like you lose a few pillars, right? And if you let family entirely be, decide, off the back of, you know, rage, animosity, past transgressions, at the end of the day, that's your life. And I can't tell somebody how to move with their family. As not everybody's family is the same. And I'm not even like my family perfect. God knows that. Y'all family members that, support my channel or know me, anyone who does know me, knows that's not the case. But don't entirely deny the capability for your family to grow from the, let's just say, very repulsive or distasteful or very much maybe dishonorable correspondence of things to be here. Your shit can grow to be this marvelous grass, to be these bushes. Don't let your shit entirely be worn out and deserted of anything. See, you got a wasteland over there. You got a parkour over an establishment over there. But there ain't no life. It's stagnation. Endless array of possibilities. But not one person gonna put in that work to make that possibility. Granted, this analogy can be debunked if someone actually does do something with that. I'm not trying to get on that for too long. But I wanted to basically say is that I feel like found a different fuel of mine to put in the work to when it needs to be, done as a man, as a person, to find that. And no matter how long that takes, no matter how long it takes to really get to where I want to be as a person, I'm always going to be not only doing my best effort, but trying out different things to the point where I don't need to try, I do. And I just wish everybody that's watching this a blessed and safe day. I want to kind of make this to be an introspection and call to different people. But there is one more thing I wanted to go ahead and talk about that I really been wanting to get on my chat. I really been wanting to talk about that I've only really told to a few fame members, right? But it's something I really wanted to say to my people. So, the core of my video is done. So if you want to keep watching, I appreciate it. But, you don't have to stay for the entirety. So what I really want to get off my chest, right? As I've already talked about family, importance of that and all that. And I'm hoping to have a great, connection and grand scope with my family and a long-lasting thing. As I've taken different appreciation, I've consulted with people, I've gathered with people, I've seen my brother took care of, his dog. I've chilled with, multiple of different people, talk with different friends, commune with different people, appreciate the people that are around me, and I've praised the Lord for giving me this grace and capability. I've re-acknowledged different things. I pray for better days. I feel like I've been getting a great deal of blessings. I repented for a lot of things. But there's always a little bit of that time in life where sometimes, like a lot of niggas, I be feeling like, damn, it's really real life, where there will always be that little linger of sadness. And life has its ups, life has its downs, and life has its graves. But that doesn't disperse the capability for, that to always be an endless thing. You see, life is a endless puzzle. No one will ever solve the full key to it. But we could rest being assured that we laid a great foundation to hopefully find an even ground of solution to it. You see, life like a maze runner thing. Endless possibilities and uncertainty to, really grasp that shit. But a difference in comparison to fully grasp that is the fact that when you potentially protrude through the waters, protrude through the sky and the clouds, and pierce into the water, you know what I'm saying, from the clouds in this case, and you get a great splash of whatever new ray of life, there's always a new ground to see something, find substance in that, and even possibly steer beyond the motherfucking stars and see something that you can't. And when I say all this analogy and all this talk is basically saying that I feel a little bit sometimes down. And I got a question from somebody of mine who, you guys might see as one of my new from Royal homies, right? As family of mine, shout her out, right? Is that even though I wouldn't say I'm whole depressed, I won't deny that there is a little bit of that deeper depression buildup of stuff. I have a lot of underlying issue in some forms. And not issue to where I'm being, I would say, self-destructive, out of pocket, mean, whatever, regardless of one of my issues. I want to say I have a whole, like, full-scale mad lad temper, right? I'm not some, like, road rage, ignorant fuck nigga or something. It's just, in the matter for my being, I would definitely say that I had a lot of underwhelming, presence of peace that never really gave me a sense of closure. And I feel like I had a very overwhelming case of pressure about my anger and my rage or sadness. And I feel like I found the solution to that. And closing it out, focusing on my passion, moving better than that, getting outside, getting fresh air, being able to talk to y'all and just do my thing. And this all came from a multitude of different things. And that's what really I want to get off my chest, as I'm kind of just yapping. My man's over here going on a tangent. I don't want this video to be too ungodly long, probably 20-some minutes, hopefully, right? And I appreciate y'all for watching this long. Y'all wouldn't mind, like, sharing, subscribe, you know what I'm saying? But you're excited on AmonRa. I appreciate y'all for watching regardless stuff. And, if y'all want to talk about, what's going on with y'all, if y'all want to be open, this is the channel for it. We listen and we do not judge. Hopefully, if you touch kids, though, get the fuck out of here. You're excited, though, on the road. Like, Some random bullshit, bro. I'm just saying, it's like, silly put, where that came from was my rage boiled down to a lot of, in the inside out case of like presence of shit with my family and shit, where all different type of ties that made my family be strong or sometimes annoying kept really pecking at me like a bird to wood. You know what I'm saying? To put on the case. And mankind got downside of a little bit of like his, I feel like, kind of morale sometimes. As I feel like during parts of my life, I ain't really have anybody to say really understood me. I feel like I never really had a nigga to say, hey, yo, I understand a mom. I can feel for a mom who really cared. And even though I don't entirely believe that, anymore, and I really don't see that, there's times where I feel like people will say, I'm here for you this, I'm here for you that, blah, 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 and they really do not rep that. And don't get it twisted. I don't think anyone in my family that is watching this or anyone in possibilities really like that. But I'm saying I feel like a lot of time, no one will really understand me because they can never actually unravel my shoes. They've never been in my shoes. And if they ever have, they had never actually been in mine long enough to understand where I am, why I'm so a little bit on this like mixed introvert, extrovert, why I'm all to myself, why I'm not always in the mood to be talking this, or doing that. And I feel like I never come off as, actual like this unpleasant, hateful person. I think I'm very nice, solemn, humble, selfless, very stand up, modest individual, right? I'm not perfect, but I just feel like a lot of niggas be surprised when there's so much great moral rage and I do all these things to be the better person, to be this. And I feel like it's never being, I guess, compensated for. And at the end of the day, that's all, it's a me thing. When you do good things or you do anything in life, you should not, by definition, expect something in return unless it's the type of mandatory shit, right? I do what I do because that's me, and I don't need no excuse. I do good because it's good. That's subjectivity of it. I don't need no talk about buts, what, also, no. It's just in this scenario, if I would have the need to really say why I was angry or why I had any reason to feel some type of way, was all because of the fact that I feel like all my life, I've really never had people really try to actually look me as a man, as a child, as a son sometimes, and really consider the fact that I am a byproduct of so much shit that ain't my fault. And now when I'm older and I'm going through these things and I'm trying to convey this, I'm trying to talk, I try to do this, I got people putting down my self-esteem, I got all these problems pressuring up, I got problems from other people that got nothing to do with me piling up on me. And I take this with full face filled, right? Because, I try moving like a mountain. I walk with purpose. Every time I walk like a mix of Biggie Smalls or like a form of like mammoth that's all mixed hollow on the outside, but it's curious and always thinking on the inside. I walk around like Thor from God of War. Seem like a movable object, but really on the inside, bro, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't no gummy bear ass nigga. I ain't no soft, you know, flatline, just un studious or stern standing person. I got a great deal of, I feel like, pride that isn't to a egregious extent that has me stand tall my own stance, right? I got a king surname, AmonRa, king of all kings. I got to rep that lion integrity, but I also do have one sense of argument where there is a level of feeling like, damn, really, where the fuck did we go to then have this type of like level of inner hatred or pain that at any moment when people push too many lines, I was ready to crash out. Not in a like crazed frenzy form, wasn't moving like some rabid dog. Because again, we ain't talking about actual Phil, but just to the point where I was willing to really say fuck everything in life. Say fuck a lot of people. Because there was a point in my time, and this is where we get to the other thing, the hollow thing, where sometimes I feel like if I died, ain't nobody would really care. And I don't believe that no more. This is all this stuff that, I wanted just to say out loud because I never said it to nobody like this. And even though I haven't contemplated suicide, I promise this, right? I swear all my life on God that I've seen better light of things. And suicide is a big, serious thing. Mental health is very serious. And if you need anyone to talk to, anyone with greater standing, and you like me at a time where you felt like ain't nobody can hear you, there are all people that can hear from you. You can reach out and you can seek attention. And bro, I'd rather, in the words of Patty Pimblett, like him, hate him, doesn't matter. He spit facts with this. If you have this type of mindset where you feel like your life is so much of a turning into mush, have no gravel for something of greater sense, and you can't even breathe in actual, like, refreshing air, and it's always a sewage in your nose. Not only do sometimes I feel like I can relate, but they're all people who feel the way that you feel. You have worth, you are loved, you are cared for, you are special, and you are chosen for greatness in your own right. Don't let nobody ever tell you that you're not. And I'd rather have my best homie, my shawty, or whoever, cry on my shoulder than me cry at their funeral. I don't want to be pouring a drink on my friend's funeral. I don't want to have to go to hospitals. I don't want to have to hear a lot of slow singing and flower bringing. And I definitely don't want to have no fucking mother coming to my doorbell, my shit ringing, and I'm over here heart twitching. I don't want to have nothing like that. And it's hard for every man. And suicide is definitely something that, we can't, I feel like as a society, entirely control, but we could try to minimize. And there's always a greater form path for a lot of these people, but you can't make that entirely be the case. And, I'm 19, so I'm not really out of the age. I mean, to be fair, like, until I really push 30, I don't think I'm really out of the age where a lot of people are taking their lives. And it's not like a big epidemic like it was maybe like in the past, the 2010s or something, correct me if I'm wrong. But I'm definitely one of them few brothers that is not only privileged enough, grateful enough, has the capability to do a lot of things that others can't. And even though I wouldn't say I was entirely raised privileged, I was raised more privileged than others, I definitely am lucky to have what I have. I don't have a lottery ticket after lottery ticket because, again, I've been humbled. I've been almost broke. I've almost been homeless technically. And at the same time, my brother been through a lot of these different correspondence of, uncertain shit. But I can at least acknowledge the fact that even with all that, I never went down those occasions. And the time where I was so depressed or, suicidal feeling, right? I was so depressed to the point where I wanted to go about, maybe doing that, was never in full physical actions, but unraveling it. My level of suicidal thoughts was akin to Biggie Smalls, where if I did kill myself, it wasn't because I was legit entirely dissolved, extinguished, exonerated from feeling humanity, but just that if I died, what really difference would it make? And I don't feel that way no more. Sometimes it be kind of reflecting in my mind that if I died, I don't know how many niggas' tears would actually come from their eyes. If I died, how many niggas would actually show up to my funeral? If I died, would any of the niggas I used to call friends, would any of the people that I opened my heart to, would any of the niggas, let me not get emotional, would any of the niggas that I cared about show that same stuff? And I'm now content with saying that I don't give a fuck about none of that no more. Not because I'm mad, not because I'm pissed, but because of the fact that will not change the actual truth of the matter. Is that my worth is decided by me. I believe everybody has that worth because I've seen it and I've seen it be through. And I ain't never try to take my life. I ain't never go for those same extent, but I have thought about different forms of, death, and I have thought about that stuff. And it's not good, especially at the time when I thought that stuff, for me to think it. No child in elementary or middle school should think like that. But that's because of what I personally been through. That's from what I saw. That's from my upbringing. And I've been able to rekindle that fire. And through God's will, my unrelenting purpose, and that fury in my chest, that eye of the tiger, that fire by the roots, whatever you want to call it, will always be a great way to stand strong in your being. So don't let nobody deny that. So if you like me, who's feeling angry, feeling saddened, feeling hollow, know that you're not alone, but you will never be forgotten. And don't let nothing in your life ever tell you that you ain't gonna have something. It doesn't matter that someone maybe won't cry this at your funeral or won't do this and won't do that. It's about what you choose and the people that you choose to be around, that all your family, all your friends, and all your loved ones. And if I would leave this world, I don't know where I would go. I would hope by all grace of God that I would achieve possible eternal salvation. But it doesn't matter if it's hell, purgatory, hell. I will leave this world with great foundation of principle. I will leave this world with great selflessness, with great humbleness, with heart and vigor and mind that's spelled out in my legacy, hopefully, in the grand scope. Regardless to be my mother, my father, my grandmother, may God bless her soul, my grandfather, whoever. The AmonRa, Victor Stringer, father, husband, whoever, lived his life by his own means. I left this world a free man that had no conviction. I had no bondage. I had no qualm in the man I chose to be. And I live happy with that. And by God's great will, I'm hoping now I can find that. I'm hoping that Jesus really got where he pushed for me. You know, if you're like me where you didn't really get fucked no more, if you believe that, you know, God possibly got a plan for you, a greater means, or he sees something in you and he can find that shit, that's the greatest thing. And I believe I'm gonna have, you know, that capability. I don't know how long it's gonna take. I'm not even saying it's gonna be simple. But what I am saying is I believe in myself. And ain't nothing gonna put that down, man. It's that simple, man. And they're gonna try to prosper regardless. But it's my final take, because not only is it getting dark, if you guys can't tell a little bit, but I'm tired. I'm trying to go to bed. Possibly when I get home. I don't know the possibility of me doing that. I might record a little bit and carry shit. Hey, drink some. I don't know. Chill. Not like alcohol or something, but I'm just saying, like, just in general, like, random rambles of talking. But besides that, was something that is something that might get me a little bit more emotional, but it's simple to say, is that a brother, if it's an obvious, has not been saddening at face value, but definitely don't have that one intricate spark of joy in his life no more. And this is something that I've, in Pacific, that I mentioned before, only talked about with a few family members, you heard? And really only my mother, my stepbrother Jalen, shout out to him, you know, big homie, and, you know, mixed bag, right? My stepmother and grandfather, but only one of them really know the full story. So I'll say this, right? And my story been consistent. So what I've told, you know, them, I'm just gonna tell back to you. So I never, from my recollection, actually said her real name, and I'm not going to, right? Not as shame, not as this, but just in purpose, right? See, this shorty that I was with, I'll call her Jupiter. She know why I will call her that. It's not as disrespect. It's an inside joke, right? Shorty Jupiter. She was my first love. And I dated this girl when I was from late 15, late 16. We knew each other from being like mixed bag 15, 14 in acknowledgement. But in true like dating means 16 and 15, right? She was my technical heart, my sunflower, my dime ting. She was my everything. This was my first love. This is my soul, you know, for possible most stupendous flavor in life. I'm talking, this was a new level of taste in life that I never had. I never had to think about. You feel me? I never had to even think about possibility even being around, because that wasn't even my type of thing. But simply put, right? This girl was so much of a great anchor person on my heart that I really loved this girl. This girl was so much of everything to me. Had my similar interests. Was smart, cute, came from a defined culture. I was working with an African girl. I was working with a sister from the motherland, from the Rhino continent, Afro people, all aspects of that, bro. And her mother was friends with my mother back in the day and was still cool prior to this day, still cool. But it's the fact that even after all the busts and things that we did, after every showcasing that has possibly been had or an acknowledgement of from Instagram, from my YouTube, or any other thing, one day ruined it all. It seemed like. Again, this shawty was my everything. It's my high school sweetheart, like shit. And we had 2.5 years of dope things, and that's longer than most high school relationships to a mixed bag thing. I don't know how consistent that is. I don't got the statistics, but by different word of mouth, that's reasonably how long it is. And not like our relationship, but like, how long generally the case for like people, relationships in high school or whatever it be like. But that's besides the point, right? The length was very much solid timing. Yeah? It wasn't anything rough. We have Barry Banger times. Didn't have a few, like, most weird time with each other or, shitty thing. I would say that we was dang near flawless, right? Like, regardless if it was time, if it was about purpose at one time or maybe a few little small disagreements. We didn't have no fights. We didn't have no disagreements. We didn't have no like bad timing with each other. It was nothing but slap time. You know what I'm saying? It was one of the most graceful, glorious times I've ever had in my life. And when I was with her, I was arguably in my most prime peak stages. And even though I'm not one of them people that are always gonna be reminiscent on the past because the past is history, right now is what you decide, and the future is a mystery. Basically, in the words of Lord, you know what I'm saying, Origami, or even like Master Oogway and Kung Fu Panda, right? The thing is that even with all those beautiful times and all those memories I would never take away, I somehow was unfortunate to have one day that was the most beautiful day planned out where I was going to go on a date on Valentine's Day with her. I had a plan to take her downtown. Enjoy the entire beautiful view of Columbus. Columbus, surprisingly, small on the map, irrelevant in the grand scope, do got some beautiful mesmerizing place. It got a great deal of plentiful, busts and things to it. I was going to take her to Mikey's Late Night Slice, peak pace place, right? Overrated sometimes on some different quality of foods with the pizza, arguably, but it's just right for the expenses. Basically, imagine Mikey's Late Night Slice as basically equivalent of the Five Guys of pizza. Expensive as hell, overpriced, at some occasions might be mixed stitch. Reasonably rated or overrated on the pizza, because to me, the true go-to pizza from price and quality is between Whole Foods and Little Caesars, but we're not going to get into that. Listen, these niggas is peak gourmet busting when they really get on, bro, especially that late night. That's what it's there for. I was going to take her there. She never been there. And all this other plans. I got clean shaved, clean fade. I was looking like, right now I'm looking like light-skinned Muhammad Ali, you know what I'm saying? Feel like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Can't hit with your eyes, can't see. RIP to the go-to profound champion. I know you got him picked, but the man's in trouble. I'm going to show you how great I am besides that, right? Like, a man was over here clean faded and everything, looking like a mixture of like a crispy, lower weight Fat Joe with a mix of, Big Ricky Rock. So, jewelry was decently cool. I had jewelry planned for her. A man was coming in there like Jimmy Hopkins, bro. Flyest nigga unexpectedly. But unfortunately, thunderstruck and she couldn't go out. And I don't know what it was for. And this is not what I'm saying, because I'm about to get to that, right? Just you gotta bear with me, right? And hopefully, this video will fully push 40 minutes. But pretty much what happened was I don't actually know. But if I had to make a little estimation and guess, before I really get into greater talking and thinking, was that she didn't go out because her mom had different plans, or her mom didn't like the idea of her going out with me for whatever reason. And I was kind of mixed if her mom knew of a relationship. As there was a mixed point in time where she wasn't supposed to have a boyfriend, but by how much, I was spending time with her, we was chilling, we was doing all this stuff, reasonably so. She knew that we were together. And I don't know what reason it could have been for us not to be together. I don't know what possible creative reason it came to that extent or point. But in this case, right, she never told me why we didn't ever talk after that. As when we talked, it was little shit. And she gave me emojis and shit like that that kind of seemed equivalent of like a little passive aggressive, like annoyance for whatever reason she could have come. But I was patient. I wasn't tripping. I wasn't nothing. And then randomly, she just never talked to me again. Never picked up the phone. Never texted. Never responded to my texts. And I never started blowing her up back to back or whatever. But I just, regardless of how much time it came before or after, right, I never got any response. And, how it was like as a boyfriend, I feel like I was pretty proud, multiple times showcasing of being not only a very cool, chill, reasonable, secure, romantical, loving, loyal, stupendous amount of care and generosity. I mean, I opened up Pandora's box equivalent to my heart to this girl. And I full indulge in every aspect of lovely things. And I feel like she reciprocated a great deal. And I spent all different type of great times with her. I've been across this entire district of Easton with her. I've been to, at one Turtle Mall. I've been to the movies. I went out to dinner. I peeked different places. I've been out with different points. I peeked to friends. I've met different people. She been in my house, I mean, this girl, she was everything to me. And I don't see no reason why she wouldn't want to talk to me. I can't even think of a reason why she just would ghost me, why she would leave me on red. And if I truly knew it, and maybe it's something, but I don't see no reason why you would just leave me on red. Let me make this clear. If she don't want to be with me, I got no problems with that. I can't force no woman to be with me. Obviously, I would fight for it, bro. But at the end of the day, it's like, if I can't be the man that you want, then that's cool. But she kind of played with my heart in the sense that she ain't tell me nothing. She ain't tell me nothing. She ain't tell me a single word. She ain't answer. She ain't pick up the phone. I called her on her birthday. She didn't answer. She would be 17, by this time in comparison, right? And, it's my birthday now, and she ain't even hit me up. She was there for my last birthday in 18, right? And again, it's just kind of crazy. It's mad kind of crazy that she just wouldn't tell me nothing. And I don't know why. To this day, like I just said, I mean, again, if there's anything that I did, as I never did anything I feel like to dishonor her, disrespect her, be entirely disregarding any of her feelings, I ain't feel like touch a personal nerve. I ain't take new bars of being a whole flagrant or fake individual. And this might just be a little bit of that light skin, maybe that cancer, leave my heart on my sleeve, bro. But like, if you really felt some type of way, why didn't you tell me? Why don't you be open up into me? And I'm not saying for access for transparency, communication, and real is that. I'm making a joke. But it's a level of like, what the fuck, girl? Like, why would you do that to me? And, I ain't too like stuck up or anything about her. Like, I've reasonably moved on. I'm not talking to her no more. I wish she would say something to me, regardless of what that is, fucking fly. But it is what it is, man. If she don't want to talk to me, if she can't, it is what it is. And there's so many reasons. If I had to guess, it's all tied to her focusing on her school shit. I hope she do good with the rest of her education. I hope she do good to be able to become that lawyer, make that money, do what she needs to, pursue her passion and justice in the mind. right? She's a very smart woman, and it's like it's nothing but love. You feel what I'm saying? As that was my girl in high school in comparison. I would graduate before her, right? And I thought there was a great deal of different plans. I mean, when we was dating between being 16, 15, her turning 16, I'm turning 17, and it's 18, all this stuff, like us being, 1.5 year different, right? I'm thinking about all reasonable credit, that this will be the girl. This will be the girl. And by all reasonable credit, even though I'm open to moving on in comparison, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like, this is the type of girl where I really thought, yeah, this is the one. I don't need to worry about the dating game. And I ain't about to be one of them niggas, using dating apps where, no offense to any of them niggas using dating apps or whatever. It's just like, that's not going to be my thing, right? It's just like, me personally, bro, it's like, I'm not out here really curious or worrying about any aspect of that thing. And for me, bro, me personally, couldn't really care less or care not for a lot of that shit. Anything of my being, I do. By the fact of the matter is that not only was that how I was raised, that's reasonable suggestion for after everything that we've been through, in the case that no matter what her reason is, I'm not holding no grudge. I hold no ill intent. Again, I can move on. I ain't some insecure, fuck nigga, whole new form of pitifully childish or out of this world obsessive. Like, I ain't nobody that's out here about to be cracking the code for how to have like chronic bitch dependency. I'm not Will Smith, you heard? But like, joke aside, you know what I'm saying? Jabs or not, I'm gonna reasonably move on. That's how I was raised to, take rejection or take whatever bullets and stand strong like Superman. You know what I'm saying? Don't let that shit penetrate your shell. Don't hide behind your shell like a coward, but definitely reveal your strength that's not even to be observed formally. I'm about to be on my gamma time and push behind, whatever means to be here. But like I said before, man, I just really wish she just would have told me. Again, I don't know why my mom and any other person said that it's a her problem. Whatever reason it is, it's her. My mom says that she can't tell me. She'd rather not tell me than break my heart, even though she is, because my parent were, like, like got a little bit of that God of War unfortunate tragedy, or Greek tragedy to be exact. You know what I'm saying? I just like by standing God of War, but iconic feel where this thing that really shouldn't happen, unfortunately happened, even if it don't make sense. You heard? So that's kind of where it come down to. Where it's like with my Pandora box, you know what I'm saying? Comparison. Where, like with Pandora box, right? Or, Pandora's box as a concept and entity, right? In a different way, she opened it up and opened up a great deal of blossom and love. But open it up also gave the capability to clack the fucking chest top down hard as fuck with the key still in. And when she removed the key, she didn't even consider the fact that a great piece of that key was still lodged in. She still got a key to my heart in a way. And even though after this, I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna be straight up, you know what I'm saying? Because there is a limit. And after all this time, because she hasn't talked to me in months, I don't think if she ever would come talking to me, come knocking at my theoretical door, I would be entirely fool, giddy to get back in a relationship. But I definitely would still always love her, and I still always would, regardless of anything else. I'm not gonna lie to y'all like some other niggas and say that I don't got that. But I will say this, that whatever problems I have, whatever reason for why I'm saying what I'm saying, it's simply because of the fact that I just have a lot of shit going on, possibly from that shit, that would take away the capability for me to actually want to re-pop back into that relationship. Because not only, again, did she technically not be truthful to me, I don't know what she could be doing. I don't know what's happening. I'm not going to say she doing this and doing that to me. But the fact that you ain't say that to me and I would never do that to her, that's where a level of like mad comes from. That's a level of like sadness. And again, I ain't never see her in the ill will. I ain't never treat her bad, I feel like. And again, if there's anything that I did, I would apologize if I knew what I did. But I see no reason just playing the speculation, playing the whataboutism to say. And I'm not trying to deflect. I ain't trying to lie. I ain't trying to be dishonest, and I'm not at all. It's 10 toes. May God strike me down if I'm lying about my reflection of this, yo. It's the fact that, again, no matter what I'm going through, a time and place, a man got reasonable reasons to feel like if I don't see her again, it's fine. But it's just like, why? Why does someone that I had all this love for just go about disappearing? Why she pull Danny Phantom? Why she pull Rafe? Why she pull a Tracer? Why she just go? And I could never tell you. And maybe that's fine. That's fine if I can't tell you. That's fine if I can't tell you, why. But it do give me sadness. You heard it do give me sadness that, she will never tell me why, and I will never know. But I'm never gonna again, hold grudge or anything. It's just like I just really wish she would have told me. Because that's why I feel like I now understand why niggas fear the unknown. Because it's not that I don't exactly know what could happen entirely. It's the fact that I don't have closure. I don't have security. I'm almost like yearning for an answer so I can have some salvage to say, I know why she didn't talk to me and I can move on. But she won't tell me. So I don't know what the fuck to do. Not with my life, but how I feel about her. Like, should I be mad? Should I be sad? Like, should I just shut the fuck up and not care? I don't know, man. Again, it's just this is a bunch of shit I haven't said out loud. And, I'm getting to the point where I'm feeling like RIP to him. I'm not saying this in a disrespectful way, but I feel like that one brother Crowder that, unfortunately took his own life, rest in peace to him, right? Where he was talking out in public and he felt a little bit uncomfortable. And even though I'm not around a lot of niggas and people don't know what I'm doing over here, they think I'm on a phone or whatever, and I don't really give a fuck, bro. I just sometimes, just feel like I could never really unravel that and say in good stance that that was the good way to end a relationship, theoretically. I mean, there was a time even after that I was like, if someone asked me, Amon, do you have a girlfriend? I couldn't tell them coherently yes or no because I don't know if we're over or she just isn't talking to me. But I would say that it's over because we're over the line now. Because let me make this clear. We didn't have so much non-communication, vacant call or care, but there was a great deal of time where we wouldn't talk to each other because we was too busy regardless of be work, school, or our own independent values. And I'm not trying to be my girl bag. I trust my shorty. If I don't trust you in the words of Berleezy, then I'm just gonna break up with you. I'm gonna communicate first, but if I really feel that type of way, bro, then that's where it ends. When you lose trust in a relationship, the relationship ends, bro. Like, no offense to niggas on Udi or whatever, bro, but I'm not about to play these games, right? Like, I'm young. I'm not gonna act like I know all about love or whatever, but not to quote no corny R&B shit. Stay up playing with my heart. I'm not playing these games. Don't do that. Don't play with me, yo. I'm not here for that. So again, maybe one day she'll tell me, maybe my mom's own words, in comparison to Jay-Z or my father, being with they first love a long time ago and going through relationships, going through shit, they eventually get with that person. That's cool with me. But the fact is that I don't want to be able to do that and I don't have that closure. I don't want to be running back to a girl who didn't appreciate what I did for her in a way to where we get to that point. And at the end of the day, bro, again, no hate, no shade. And, I'm going to wrap this up because we're pushing an hour with this, and I already get that, but